This video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN.
I'm Sadge, this is Alan, we're running off grid and we've been living in our converted van Apollo for about 2 years now, travelling around Europe.
And this video is all about the 10 essential things you need to know before you start van life. And don't forget to watch till the end because we have saved the best till last.
So, insurance. You can spend so much money on insurance. Alan really likes insurance. I really hate insurance.
I think I like it. It's like setting fire to piles of money.
Exactly. So we've chosen not to have breakdown insurance and not to have travel insurance. We have the EHIC cards, the European health cards, which give you access to treatment in Europe. But we just decided not to do that because it would just cost us lots of money and we've taken the risk. We know other van lifers who have chosen to get breakdown insurance and it's worked really well for them. So I guess just to say it's not compulsory, but if you think that it's going to really help you to enjoy your trip more, then go for it. Obviously, if we break down and have to spend thousands of pounds getting back to the UK, I'll say something different. But I still think, how much money have you saved so far? You can put that towards the breakdown if it happens.
Yeah, see, I'm more like, what if we break down in Switzerland now? Our van's not the newest van in the world. What if we break down in Switzerland and we have to get rescued? How much will that cost?
Cross that bridge if you get to it, don't you?
Also, the European health card doesn't cover that much and it does depend on which country you're in, so...
It doesn't actually count in Switzerland because it's not in the EU.
Maybe we're just flagging. This is something to look at. Maybe don't do as we do.
Make your own decisions.
Yeah. You need to think about it though, because it's more expensive than you'd think, and actually it could be quite important. If you've got a knackered old van and it's going to break down every 10 minutes, definitely get AA, you know, or something like that. RAC. Other providers are available. Oh, I hope we don't break down. Get a VPN. We always use Surfshark VPN and they are the sponsors of this week's video. So what is a VPN? A VPN is a way of securing and encrypting all your information, all your data that's going across the internet so that no one else can see or access it. So one of the massive advantages of a VPN is that you can set it to your home location. So when we were traveling in Croatia, for example, we were finding that we were getting all the information, all the search results and things like that were all very Croatian specific because it had worked out that you're in Croatia and it was going to give you Croatian news and Croatian weather and all this kind of stuff that really we didn't want. We just wanted a bit of home, didn't we? We were trying to watch BBC iPlayer and all that kind of stuff. So you get on your VPN, you set it to the UK, and suddenly everything just thinks you're in the UK again. And all that information will be relevant to a UK user. Another big advantage is that if you're using a lot of public Wi-Fi, which you probably will be doing if you're traveling abroad in a van, and you're always trying to pinch Wi-Fi from here, there and everywhere, you never quite know what it's going to be like or how secure it is. VPN completely takes care of that as well. So it's all encrypted, it's completely secure. Just peace of mind, isn't it? You know that all that information, all that data is encrypted and no one can get at it. If you're interested in trying out Surfshark VPN, use our code OFFGRID and you can get 83% off and a free 3 months. Surfshark VPN comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. All the information's in our description below, so have a look, click the link and see what you think.
Something that we found invaluable for travel is having decent guidebooks. We've got them for every single country that we've been to, even ones that we decided not to go to because we read the guidebook. And we would have had a completely different trip if we hadn't have used guidebooks. They've been there, they've done it, they tell you what's good to go to, what to avoid. If you're coming up to a town or a city and you're not sure about it, you can just have a quick look in it. There's itineraries in them. You can look at it and go, okay, what can I not miss in a country? So we're going to Germany soon. I've never been before, apart from when we stopped off randomly on the way back from Croatia. This just tells me everything that I need to know. All the sort of easy history and even things like how to be a vegetarian, what kind of regional dishes there are. So if you're going travelling, 100% recommend.
What have you got? You've got Rough Guide and you've got Lonely Planet. They're the two that we tend to get on well with.
Yeah.
So something else that is essential when you're travelling in a van that you need to take into account is those unexpected costs. So what if the van breaks down? Or even little things like toll roads in France can cost an absolute fortune. Getting your laundry done in Switzerland, which we did last week, I can promise you is a very expensive experience. I think we paid nearly 30 quid just to get our laundry done and dried. So that's something we hadn't factored in. Like campsites, and again it's very sort of location specific, so a campsite in Switzerland could be like 45 quid. whereas a campsite in North Wales can be much closer to 20 quid. So it does vary, but you just need to make sure that you've costed out some of those things and just leave that little bit of extra money in your budget just for unexpected things that can be quite hard to predict.
Because things cost more than you think.
They certainly do.
Especially the Eurotunnel.
Yeah, that's true. The Eurotunnel's like 250 quid, and fuel, it now costs about £150 to fill up Apollo.
So following on from the last one, the money side of things, I think that's probably a major consideration for most people who are considering van life. And something that we found useful is to have several streams of income, not just relying on one thing. I work, we rent our house out, etc, etc. So if you can manage that, then that's a really foolproof way of funding your travelling lifestyle. And really just being aware that unexpected things will come up, like we were saying last time. If you don't have breakdown and you need to get back to the UK, or you had unexpected medical events, or something happens and you need to spend a few nights in a hotel, or whatever it is, things come up, like we had to redo all our brakes and get 4 new tyres, which we didn't budget for. So savings, people, have savings. Living on the road is not always cheap, and you need that buffer, otherwise it turns into a very stressful lifestyle.
Something else I just add to that too, I know a lot of people think you can make quite a lot of money on YouTube. I know loads of people, including us, are having a go at the YouTube thing. It's not very likely to make you a vast amount of money. It's been great, little bits of income here and there, which I think feeds into that kind of multiple income stream. Very unlikely to be able to fund your entire travelling and van life just with something like YouTube. I know a few people do it, but it's not easy. If you're planning on travelling abroad, you need to take into account visas. Specifically with Europe, we're talking about the Schengen. So there's the Schengen zone. You can only get 90 days in 180 days where you can travel freely in the Schengen zone. That's a whole other series, but what I would say is just bear in mind that you are restricted as to where you can be and when you can be, and it's not the case that you can just get in your van, hop across to Europe and spend as much time as you want there. That's just not a reality anymore, unfortunately, because of people that voted Brexit.
So a van is a very small place, as we all know, and I'm quite a minimalist in some ways.
I'm not.
He's not.
No.
Even I bought too many clothes. I vote, take what you think you need and half it, and you'll be alright.
It's very easy to bring too much stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, very easy. Yeah, you need a lot less than you think you'll need. Absolutely.
You're gonna need a lot of pants, people. A lot of pants.
Double the pants, half everything else.
Yeah. Next one is have an exit strategy. And that's a bit of a complicated one because it depends on how old you are, how long you plan to do this for, and all these other factors. So if you're in your retirement, you know, it might be something that you're planning to just keep on doing. If you're younger though, you need to be thinking about, is van life going to be forever? Which is a big kind of thing to try and assume, isn't it? Like, I don't think we do van life forever. Like, we love van life, but I don't know about forever. So if it's not forever, then what's your plan? How are you going to kind of come out of van life in a better situation than you entered it, I guess? So I think it's a risk if you're a younger person maybe that wants to do van life, and maybe you've got a foot on the property ladder and you want to sell your house to fund it. What if you don't like van life? Then you've kind of lost that asset and you might not be able to get back onto the housing ladder. I'm not saying what you should or shouldn't do. I just think you need to be thinking about, if van life isn't forever, what's your exit strategy? What are you going to do afterwards? How are you going to make sure you come out of van life with a little bit more than a depreciating van? You know, you quite often see people talking about vans as this kind of investment. And it's not really, because it's an asset that's just constantly losing money. If you've got a house that's constantly going up in money, I know a lot of people don't have the option of getting a house, but I'd just be wary about thinking of this van as a long-term investment, because it's not, and it's just going to depreciate over time, and then you just want to think about what's going to happen at that point.
Really trying to buy a vehicle that suits your needs. If possible, trying a few things out. A small little VW camper is a very different experience than a giant, luxurious motorhome. They all come with pros and cons, not including height restrictions. We've gone for a sort of medium, mid-range sort of model, in that we're not a huge motorhome, but we're not a tiny camper either. They all have, as I said, advantages and disadvantages, and you just need to work out what you need, what's non-negotiable for you, and what's going to work best in your specific circumstances. family of 4, probably not going to fit too well in a tiny camper. And if comfort's really important to you and you want a giant place to sit and lots of water and potentially aircon, that kind of thing, it's going to be the motorhome. If you want a more sort of off-grid setup, or you like the sort of Scandinavian style of these converted vans, maybe a van. But really just doing your research and making sure you pick one that works well for you and your circumstances.
Finally, the best till last, and this is without a doubt the most useful thing that we had on the entire trip ever, by quite a way. You may well know what it is, but it's Park for Night. It's this great little app, all the locations of places you can stop, places you can park for the day, for the night, where you can get water from, where there are toilets, like all the kind of information you want to know as a van lifer. It's like a community-based app. People put it on there, people review it, and it's just brilliant. So you can get all that information. Park for Night, couldn't do it without it. People will suggest other things like search for sites and all these other things. We haven't bothered really, have we? Like, you know, Park for Night has nearly everything you need on there, and it's by far got, you know, it's got the most information, the most data from all the users. So Park for Night, don't leave home without it, don't leave your van without it. Get Park for Night.
Thank you everyone for watching. We hope you found it valuable. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, like. If you're new to the channel, give us a subscribe, and we'll see you next Sunday.
See you next Sunday. Next on the list, if you're planning on travelling abroad, I don't know why I said abroad like that, abroad.
Abroad? We're Alan and Sadge, and we've been travelling around our van.
Travelling around. Oh, right. We live full
from
time.
one side to the other.
Something else. What's the thing? Essential things.
Something else.
Something else.
Less wine and cheese, people. More popping it in the bank.
I don't think we can say that. We've eaten quite a lot of cheese.